respond to?
I was going to make a suggestion. I have some concerns with your amendment. If I could just outline the concerns I have, we may find that we're more in agreement on some things than we are. And I don't know whether you want to go through your amendment and discuss every issue in your amendment, or whether you want to just discuss the ones where.
Well, Representative Skelton, you may not know this, but after we completed our caucus luncheon, I went back to my office, and along that path, from the first floor to the third floor, strategically placed along the way were 2 or 3 lobbyists who detained me for some period of time to discuss the.
Didn't make you late.
No, it didn't make me late. I refused to be late for my subcommittee hearing, but they addressed, or they outlined their concerns. You know, I didn't really have the benefit of digging and peeling back the layers of the onion on the 3 concerns that they highlighted to me. I might find my way, you know, to trying to find some kind of compromise on one, but I'm not sure about the other 2. So I was prepared to say before we took a vote on this that there are some concerns with 2 or 3 portions of provisions within the amendment that might also need to be changed. I just don't know. I don't think, given all the discussion that we've had so far, especially with members sort of concerned about being given the language today to have the opportunity to absorb, that I would entertain the idea of amending the amendment now. So I guess the question is, you know, we can either vote 1 or 2 of these amendments up or down, and then try amending it on the House floor, or we can, I'm hearing that they don't even want to do that. So I'm gonna turn back to Representative Govan, because I was trying to go in order here. Everybody had questions, and Representative Brown has a comment. Representative Govan is right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't think I'd be wading into this today, but as I stated earlier, I think this is an important issue. I tell you, I think that there were some very serious questions raised, and I'm not saying that to make it sound that we're not. I think we're all very much concerned about this, but I think that there are some things we do know, and there's some things that we don't. What we do know is that as high as somewhere around 57% of our kids are engaging in prenuptial sex at an early age, and that based on the information I've seen has been shared with me, that 3/4 of those are 18 to 19-year-old students. Now, I used to work in the 301 system, so I don't know whether these numbers are exactly accurate, but I can tell you that they're pretty accurate. So I don't doubt that based on again, my involvement from a professional standpoint in terms of working with innovation and prevention programs. We do know that South Carolina is ranked very high. Some say as high as number 11 in this country in terms of teen pregnancy. I think if anybody wants to contradict that, we do know that South Carolina ranks high in teen pregnancy. We do know that many of those teen pregnancies, unfortunately, end in abortion, which has been a very hot and controversial topic. But we all agree that abortion, in terms of, under these circumstances, when it comes to teen pregnancies, is not necessarily a good thing. I think we all can agree on that. Now, the question is in terms of what do we do about it, or how it impacts us, because it does impact us. It becomes I think the issue, and it was a very fair point that was raised in terms of whether we should do something about this. And I think Representative Taylor had alluded to that earlier. Well, anytime you have something that has nearly a $200 million impact on taxpayers, that does put it somewhat in the public's domain. Because what we've seen is, of course, is that we have not come up with a solution from the standpoint of community and home to address this, because if that were the case, we would not be sitting around this table and there would not be people around the room. So it is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. There's no question about that. And that's not up for debate, because kids are getting pregnant, and it's not necessarily a good thing. And our rate here in South Carolina, even though we've made progress over the years, which is why this Comprehensive Education Act, Health Education Act was introduced years ago, was put in place, and this state put in motion changes in the law to try to address this very crucial issue. And we made some progress, but obviously we have not made enough. And what we found out in testimony, as Chairman Patrick said, and I just want to just point this out for those members who are here, was that we found out what we thought we had put in place in terms of the Comprehensive Health Education Act, that there were gaps in the system because there was not, based on the testimony, that there were some questions in terms of consistency varying from district to district. I think that's what we all heard. Some districts did a better job than others. In fact, based on the testimony we heard, I surmised that perhaps some districts weren't necessarily doing everything they could or following consistently the law that had been put in place. So, looking at this bill, I don't think it attempts to rewrite the law necessarily, and I stand to be corrected, and this is, and I open it up to the author of either amendment. But what I see here is something that tries to address three major concerns: accuracy, accountability, and consistency. And if those are bad things that we shouldn't be trying to do here as legislators, I don't know why we spend the time we do here in Columbia. Because we have something that we have put on the books, maybe not necessarily this specific group of lawmakers, but our peers, people who have come before us to try to address a very real problem that impacts the lives of South Carolinians. We're not here to judge. It's not an issue in terms of whether we're trying to make moral judgments. I mean, that's something that, in terms of this issue, in terms of what's taught at home in the community, those are local issues. But what we are here to do is to try to address a very essential public health issue that affects all of us, economically, socially as well. And so, having said that, I'll tell you, I think I can live with, if there's no difference, and I understand there are some minor differences between amendments, but probably it would be a good thing just to move forward at the appropriate time.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, this is a very serious issue for the state and the subcommittee. Teen pregnancy, the dropout rate, abortion reduction, STD prevention, depending on entitlements, all those issues, the rates need to come down. The rates need to be greatly improved. And we should be here to try to address those concerns. And so I agree that the legislation, the law needs to be updated on this issue. We need to come with a good, clean bill that would satisfy the majority of the stakeholders, all the groups involved. You know, and to be honest with you, I just want to be fair to all the groups out there. I want to be fair to my constituents, and I want to be fair to myself. And here's what I'm trying to tell you. You see this sheet, this 10 sheets. These are printed emails that I got. 10 sheets with at least 47 emails on each. This is 470 emails I got from my constituents. They're about 50-50. Okay, so they're split. Your amendment, 11 pages, we just got today. You actually, I guess, changing the entire bill. Representative Govan amendment, 7 pages. His changes the bill because of insert. What I'm saying is that we do have an issue here that needs to be fixed, and I think it's the subcommittee responsibility to do the best we can to get this job, getting this issue fixed. And I don't think trying to fix it today with all the issues still involved with the bill and these amendments, I just don't think we have the time. I really think we need more time to correct this bill and make it right. Make it so at least the majority, the major majority would be satisfied with this bill. And so I'm saying, let's adjourn debate. At the appropriate time, I'd like to adjourn debate so we can do more study on this bill and to give the people of the state a bill where the majority will be happy. So at the appropriate time, I will move to adjourn debate on the bill.
Well, Representative Brown, I appreciate your comments, and I apologize for, the amendment was just finished today. I just was able to provide the language to staff on Friday. And again, it is the result of meeting with both groups at least twice in the interim of our last subcommittee meeting and today's date. I probably don't have the authority to put you on a study committee, but I would recommend that Chairman Owens put you on a study committee to further investigate this issue and come up with a compromise for future legislation. Representative Taylor is recognized. No, you've already made your comments. Okay.
Honestly, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do agree with Representative Brown. I came in here fully ready to make a decision and just put this behind us and enjoy the summer so we won't get all the massive emails that we've been getting. But when we really look at it, all of us has to go home and face our constituents and face those K through 12 and parents to explain what we just did. The language in one, it changes what we know. It changes, it may change the lifestyle of what we've grown up with, and then on the other hand, it introduces things that a lot of families may not be comfortable with. And I was selfish coming in, because I said, let's deal with it, let's vote, let's pass something or do something, but I don't want to put it off. But listening to it at the end of the day, we have to be able to go home, hold our heads up high, and to be voted, and we did what was right for families. I do agree, the teen pregnancy is just really off the wall. I had a conversation with actually one of the mayors who's in Hanahan, and she's a school teacher, and she said, well, something needs to be done. I don't know whether this is particularly the right one. A good pastor friend of mine shared it with me, I don't agree with that bill. Then you have a parent who say, well, I don't think I want the school teaching my children about sex, and then you have some. It's just in limbo. And instead of looking at groups, we have to really look at the lives that it's really going to affect. We do want better families. We want healthy families. And we're addressing the effect, not the cause why these children are having all these babies out of wedlock and so on and so forth. And none of it is really, I think, addressing discipline, morale, character, self-esteem. If we're honest, children and even adults, they turn to sex because they're not inwardly satisfied, so they're depending on sexual gratification to bring some type of self-worth. And will this bill give them that self-worth and that value that they need? I don't know whether this will do it. And I do say this, I don't think we should just pass by and just deal with this haphazardly, because reproduction, all of us, we're here as a result of someone getting together with someone. So we may need to think about it again until we really have time to sit down and talk to the people who are in school, who really is going to be affected by this. I would love to pass something today, I really would, but at the end of the day, I have to go back to my constituents. And I have a lot of young people in most of them new and the younger ones, and I probably haven't consulted with them about how they feel, the younger parents, how they feel about this. So that's just my piece on it. Honestly, and I'm being honest, today I probably won't feel comfortable voting to send anything anywhere right now. I came in with my mind made up to do something and be done with it. But at the end of the day, it's about the families and the young children.
Mr. Chairman,